Hey guys. Um my bad on the slow output of videos. I've been trying to get my YouTube channel verified, and the process is painstakingly slow because I can't really verify my phone number for some reason after countless tries, and it is quite it's kind of pushing back my motivation, I guess, for pushing out new videos and stuff. Even though I have a lot of video ideas and thoughts backlogged. Yeah, anyways, new updates on my internship from my previous videos. Um Things have actually gotten a lot better. Yeah, wow, surprisingly. As I start off with being quiet and more slow to open up to, my coworkers, it seems that I've been perceived in a light that is distant or cold, or somebody that thinks that maybe they might be too good for others, or just someone that's unfriendly in general. But over time, it has improved quite a bit after slowly warming up to my coworkers and just slowly trying to let parts of myself come through and not being judged for it. I think it's getting better. People has been involving me or including me in discussions a lot more, and even simple things like having a sort of gesture when arriving into the office in the morning or leaving, and people start saying hello back, people start saying goodbyes. And yeah, I don't know, it's something that is super trivial, but to me it's, I guess, quite a big improvement from where I started with. But that is not the point. The point of this video is more so to talk about how perhaps makes me what makes me me, someone whose values or personality or character is not something that surfaces so quickly. Instead, it is more so of a slow process that people take their time to slowly get to know me, and vice versa. When people finally sort of see that sort of value in me, like for example, today, um, I've actually had quite the interesting conversation with my supervisor where he was telling me how he was basically just appreciating what I've been doing, I guess, for him and for the company. And he's been indirectly sort of just asking me if I had any thoughts of, staying in the company after my internship finishes. And obviously, I appreciate all of that and all of the good things that have happened, throughout the internship. But something that kind of just piqued my interest and is the motive of this video is that even through all of these good things, I tend to focus on the bad. Because while not something minuscule, but also not something like, devastating, today I kind of messed up a little bit on my work duties. Basically, it was mostly like a designing error where I planned my execution for implementation of a project poorly, which led to a lot of issues, actually, like architecturally and structurally for the code base. And obviously that caused troubles for my coworkers who were working on the same project as me, and that includes my supervisor, which caused him, to take the project back into his own hands. And I mean, obviously that's not an issue because he did say, I mean, after we talked about it and everything, that both of us came to we kind of came to the similar conclusion, but independently, where we figured out what was going on and what was going wrong with the current implementation and why, everything is so messy and unorganized. Overall, it was just a small issue, but at the end of the day, it was the only thing that stuck in my mind. The only thing that stuck in my mind was why didn't I just plan it better, or what I could have done better to avoid this sort of confrontation. It's not even a confrontation, honestly. It's just like a slight inconvenience. It's that part of me that drills down and focuses onto these sort of little mistakes. That part of me that criticizes myself, that always checks my own behavior and quality of work, that basically makes me who I am, that makes up my values, that kind of builds into my, I guess, skills or competence or anything really. And it is that same thing that when people finally get to sort of know me more, that, oh, maybe this guy isn't as unfriendly or as distant as I thought. Maybe he just wasn't into small talks. It's the same thing that makes people see the value in me, where, I'm a person that can do his job properly, I guess, or I'm a decent person that don't really judge people for, their opinions or their actions. And I rationalize things extremely well because I can sort of understand, what people go through, and I imagine myself being in their shoes. Yeah, it's just this kind of philosophical mindset that people slowly uncover that causes this isolation, this short period of isolation in the first place. And even when people, they start to come around, they start to warm up to me, we start being better friends, we start getting to know each other better, that I don't get over the fact that it didn't start out this way. It started out as me being alone, as usual. And this wasn't the first time that happened as well in this internship. The same exact thing happened in my previous internship, where I made a comment about my personal life. Like, I shared a bit too much, I guess, where I thought people would have been, more understanding. But turns out that I can't really do that. I cannot just talk about myself or just be myself for the most part, because people would find you weird, and that would ostracize you basically from the workplace or the group of people that you would hang around with mostly. And that is kind of just what shaped me into the idea of being quiet, not participating in most small talks, even if it's not something that's personal. It's just, I don't know, I find them not too interesting to me. Sorry, I was going off track by a little bit. Anyways, back to the first internship that I've had. Over time, people still kind of started seeing the kind of values that are within me, and all of these happen only after they see the competence. I'm not even sure if it's competence or just the fact that, I'm quite chill, in fact, with almost everything. And most people aren't like that. And that's probably why they kind of distance themselves from me as well. Because being someone that's quiet and not very participatory, I think, yeah, it would be easy for people to perceive me in a way that, oh, this guy must be judging me or stuff like that. And yeah, it's interesting. It's quite a deja vu experience, honestly. It's like hearing the same words from my first internship, where my supervisor asked whether I can just stay to work for them instead of going back to continue with my studies. Yeah, I don't know. I think the question would be, yeah, there's a few layers to this, to how I could potentially avoid this in the future. Well, I mean, I could, one, just completely be myself, where I don't participate in small talk anyway, and I just be blunt with what I think, which is a lot of things, most things that people tell me about, like, obviously I would have opinions on my own, but that doesn't mean that my opinions would be helpful to them and what they want to hear, So obviously I'd have to take that into circumstance and everything. Would that even be considered as being myself? Like, not saying what I think, but instead saying what I think they would want to hear. I'm not sure if people would find that helpful, I feel that most people would probably just find that helpful, because people rarely want to listen to what they need to hear. and more so what they want to hear. Yeah, it's still something I'm kind of figuring out whether I should change my approach. I don't know. Trying to find a mold for myself in society is quite the challenge. Maybe it's because of my, I don't know. Maybe it's because I never really had to do small talk in the past to make friends. Because people usually just sort of gravitated towards me when I was younger. And that's not really a flex either. It's just more of an observation that I've noticed. But then now that we're older, where most of my closer friends have drifted apart, and I myself have spent most of my free time alone figuring out things. So yeah, still plenty of stuff to talk about and figure out, but I think this should be enough for one topic in a video. Thanks, guys.